Hey guys, and welcome back to a new university experience video on this channel. Today, a good friend of mine, Sonia, agreed to share her experience in Paris for 1 year studying abroad. So if you're curious about how it is to study there or what's the difference between the educational system, sit back, relax and enjoy this episode of Steven Presents.
Hi, I'm Sonia. I've currently finished University of Manchester. I've studied international management these 4 years with the year abroad experience in the third year.
In Paris, right?
Yeah.
And how did you decide on Paris and on France specifically instead of other countries?
Well, actually I had a lot of options, and my first one was Singapore and the second one was France, and I didn't really have a choice because they would just pick you to go to a country. And I think I put it as the second option because everyone just loves Paris, and I wanted to be a challenge for myself because I didn't speak any French. I'm speaking other languages, and I said, why not? I can learn another language and I could just go there and see the Eiffel Tower and be so Frenchy and everything. So yeah, it was just fun. I didn't think that it would be actually so hard there, but yeah, I just got picked to go there.
Was it harder to go there from Manchester after like the first 2 years of experience compared to how it felt to come here in the first year from Romania?
Oh, definitely not. Like, it was easier because I knew what I have to do, how to move there, what to take with me. Because coming here to Manchester was actually so hard. I left home. I didn't know how to cook, I didn't know how to pack. I was just lost. And going there, I just took one suitcase for the whole year. And I said, whatever, I'm just going there. It has to be fun. I have to just get along with myself. And yeah, it was easier. But the fact that I couldn't speak the language was, I think, a major barrier for me coming there, because I had to open a bank account, I had to find accommodation, I had to speak to people around me. And this was quite challenging, but I could overcome it, so yeah, in the end it was okay.
How can you describe France after your experience?
Actually, from the university point of view, I think that France actually is more similar compared to Romania on how the teachers are and how they teach and how the subjects are. And in the UK, I think it's more, you learn more practical, and teachers are more open, they allow you to do many things, and they're a bit friendlier, I can say that. So coming from Romania, I think it was easier for me to study there, but also getting along with how they would have the exams, and yeah, it was okay.
What were the criteria to get this experience abroad?
I think when I applied, I already had this year, but you just had to have like a 55, your average grade, to still keep that year, because if not, you would just do the 3 years of university and finish. And yeah, that was the only requirement. So I just applied there. I sent, I think, a letter to say why I want to study and keep that year abroad. And yeah, that was it.
And what made you decide between a year abroad and a placement year?
I think that one of the main reasons is that I still wanted to experience more during university, because I know that after university you have to find a job or you have to have your own business and start working. And I thought it would be really interesting. At first I didn't know what I was going to choose, and it was quite like strange because it's going into the unknown. But after that I was sure that I want to keep that year and challenge myself to grow there and to grow into a better person, to grow into a more independent person, to don't know anyone and just go into the unknown.
I think that you developed a lot, you understood the different culture, you went there. What about the accommodation?
So my university was located somewhere near Paris, like in La Défense, like their business center. And my accommodation was right next to the university, so it was quite okay because I didn't have to pay for transportation and so on. And it was like a really nice and new building, and everyone that lived there was from Erasmus or from year abroad, so yeah.
Yeah,
and
so it was easier for you to interact with them and make friends.
Yeah, I actually had my own studio, which was nice, but we were able to interact and just to, if it was so close to the university, we always had to go there and meet somewhere or, meet on the way. So yeah, it was really nice.
And what were the activities after universities? Where did you go?
Oh, it depended so much because there were so many events, because it was prior to COVID, and there were a lot of events, like they organized there in the societies. We went to museums, we went to nightclubs, so we're just with the boat there on the river Seine, so we had a lot of activities to do. Also going to restaurants because they have so many good options there.
So you talked about societies. Is the society culture the same as is in the UK?
No, it's kind of different. They do have some sports and they do have some societies, but it's not that broad. You can't choose from so many societies. They have an international society where you can just go and have fun activities with other Erasmus students. But here, I think in Manchester, you have a lot to choose from, and I think they're way better.
That's interesting, because I thought that the culture in the West should be the same in terms of society and how many opportunities they give to all other people. Because here you have like every nation has its own society, or you can go and have like a Queenish society or whatever.
Yeah, I think people here are more open to foreigners and also to people coming from the outside. Yeah, basically. French people do have that, so it was, I think, ESSEG, where I studied, was one of the most internationally friendly universities from the whole France, and this was okay for me, but I could still feel that you're not that welcome as a foreigner as you're here. They tend to be a bit racist sometimes, but not all of them, because I think the majority of the teachers were from France, but we also had some British teachers.
Yeah, so you didn't feel like you were discriminated based on the fact that you're a foreigner?
It depends. Like, it really depends. I don't think in the university I could have felt that, but I think going to shops or just talking to local people, you could have felt that they most of them didn't want to speak English, even if they knew how to speak English. And I tried to speak French to them because I had some classes there to learn how to speak French, and I really tried to order in French, and it was like the bare minimum, but they wouldn't accept that, and they would start speaking English actually. Yeah. So it's strange.
And was there any major event that marked your experience in the French capital?
So I started my Erasmus here in August, and everything was really beautiful because we had the introductory week where we had a lot of events going on and activities with everyone that had arrived there. And actually in September things started to shake up a bit because they had some protests in Paris. And everything, like the transport was closed, you couldn't go out of Paris with trains, planes, anything. And I think the worst day was when I was just walking through Paris and they started fighting and throwing with tear gas, and it was crazy. So the whole city was all over the place. So yeah, that was really bad. And they actually continued, I think, until January.
Yeah, but that's an experience to remember.
Oh, yeah.
But your studies were not affected by this. They were normal. They were normal.
No, and also the fact that I lived right next to the university was really, really good because I didn't have to use the transport. But I think for other colleagues that lived in the city center, it was quite challenging, and we had to delay exams. So yeah, it was quite bad.
I'm glad that you're okay. But how do you feel that this experience changed you?
Oh, it changed me a lot. First of all, when I got here in the UK, I didn't have any friends, but I think in less than 1 month I had so many people from Romania especially, and I kind of felt like home. But going there, as I've told you before, I didn't speak French. I didn't know what I was doing there. I haven't been to France, so it was totally new for me. And moving there alone, it was quite a challenge, but I grew into a more mature person, more responsible. Also, how I've told you with the protests, I had to actually be able to switch from having a plane ticket to go somewhere to taking the train and taking the bus and to doing all those switches. So really doing things on the spot. So I think these are the main things that I've learned from that year.
Didn't you perceive as a challenge the difference between the school program and how the courses are taught and the exams are given to the students compared to what you were used to here in the UK?
Yeah, that was totally different because in the UK you start a course in September and then you just end it in January with an exam. Back there we used to have a different course every week starting from Monday and then the exam on Friday. So I had over 30 courses, yeah, in over 2 semesters. So this was quite a lot and it was challenging because you couldn't go anywhere to travel because you expect as an Erasmus student to go traveling from Thursday, but we had to be there every Friday to have our exams and then it was over, so we never had that course again.
And how did you manage to accommodate yourself to this schedule?
Well, it was okay given the fact that you had to study just 4 days for that, but we had 4.5 hours every day of that course, of that teacher, and if you didn't like the course that you chose, it was quite bad, but the markings were okay, so they didn't expect you to have very high grades or they didn't have high expectations for you, so they still kept that in mind that you're an Erasmus student and not everyone had the same background and the same knowledge.
And how do the marks transfer to your UK overall average?
They didn't really care here, they just wanted you to pass 70% of their courses. So the marks didn't count at all for my degree.
So it was more for you to discover yourself and discover
it was more
culture.
for the experience, and I actually had courses that were like psychology but also economics, so you could just vary a lot. I also had a wine course and the teacher wanted to take us to taste wine after that, but then COVID came and everything was over, but it was really interesting that we could have done that.
So do you think that this whole experience helped you become a different person on many levels that you are not being able to access here in Manchester? Like a year abroad helps you in doing that?
Yeah, definitely. Like besides being on your own and having to cope with everything and being alone there, you also meet so many people. Like I had a course where we were actually 30% from Europe and the rest from the outside. And it was really interesting because I got to find out so many things about different cultures. I had courses where we only learned about cultures and how different we are. And this helped me actually. I wasn't a person that used to judge people, I never do that, but some were. And the fact that we had the chance to actually speak about what we do as a culture and getting to understand each other, why we're late, why we do that, why we speak louder, and it's actually normal. So it's not a personal thing that you do, but it's a thing that your culture does. And understanding this actually gets you to be a better person and have a better work experience, and yeah, it's actually very helpful overall.
What would be the most important piece of advice that you would give to yourself then after this experience?
I think you also have to look at the end goal, what you want to achieve. Is it personal? Is it from a work point of view? Is it from, I don't know, you just want to travel? That can be totally fine. But if you have the money, you want to go there, you want to have fun, you want to meet people and just evolve as a person, I totally recommend it. So you just have to go with the flow, be confident, and you will succeed.
Thank you for being here and
Thank
for
you for
sharing
having
this.
me.
And until next time, thank you guys for watching this video, and let me know in the comment section below if you like this series and if you would like to know more about other countries and other exchange experience.